This report just showed us everything wrong about this team as Padres management refuses to use this player who could or could not have massive impacts on this team. Let's talk about it. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Padres Digest with your host, Andrew. Today's game was canceled, so we're going to have to talk about that twice tomorrow. But let's talk about a report that I saw. Before we get into it, though, please subscribe as always. We're passing milestones left and right, and I'm so happy for it. But yeah, keep subscribing so we can make more of these amazing things for you. So while I was on Twitter today, I saw a report from Kevin Acee, and I know a lot of people don't like Kevin Acee, but he's still a reporter and he still gives news. And he had I don't want to call it a hot take, but he definitely had a take about the Padres and their situation right now, especially at the catching position, because it's not great, right? So, Maldonado and Diaz have become too much of a black hole offensively for this to continue. Maldonado also isn't very good defensively outside of calling games, and that's something you can't measure. I don't think that's one positive trait. I don't think that one positive trait outweighs the rest of the bad. And then he moves. I guess I can just show you the article right now. So here are some quotes that I pulled from the Kevin Acee article. So is the idea they need to help give their offense some length and depth? Manager Mike Shildt has clearly given the impression he could hardly care less about his catchers, what his catchers do at the plate, as long as they are doing their jobs behind the plate. That is not a belief held as deeply by everyone in the organization, especially as Martin Maldonado's batting average has fluctuated between 163 and 194 since mid-May. It is currently 180 and was lifted for a pinch hitter last night in the fifth inning. Shildt would not bite on questions regarding the potential competitive disadvantage this team is placed. This team is placed at by removing his catcher after one at-bat and spending a bench bat and a second catcher in the fifth inning. There was no reason to push beyond a couple questions. Shildt doesn't publicly criticize players or even come close to acknowledging their shortcomings for public consumption. Besides, what did he say about pinch hitting for Maldonado with 2 on and 1 out in the fifth inning of a game the Padres trailed 3-0 actually conveyed all we needed to know. It was a fairly easy decision, quite frankly, Shildt declared. That's interesting to me. Hello, Campusano. We'll get into you in a sec. That's interesting to me. The fact that you say it's an easy decision to take out a player for another player who supposedly hits better. I don't know if Trenton Brooks is really that much of a better hitter right now, but it's at... How do I describe it? It's like it's weird for a manager to say it's an easy decision to take out a player that at the same time you're also defending and keeping on this team. Obviously, it's also an AJ Preller choice because he's the general manager. But the fact that Shildt has a say in that, and that his say is that he does not want to get rid of our catching duo, that's strange to me. That's really strange to me. I mean, I do like Diaz more than Maldonado, but Maldonado has not been great at all in any aspect of the game. Maybe calling the game, but I don't know if that's even that true, to be honest, because some of our pitchers are pitching poorly, and I know Dylan Cease and Maldonado are used exclusively, and now Dylan Cease is not pitching that well, so is that Maldonado's fault? I don't know. But that's a weird thing for our manager to say about one of our catchers, one of our hitters, one of our players. Let's move on to the next quote. The Padres have been looking on the trade market not just for a right-handed bat to play left field or be their DH, but also a catcher who can hit better, who can hitter better. That makes no sense. But also a catcher who can hit better than what they have. There isn't a lot out there. Maybe they can line up later, or maybe the top of the order will heat up to the point that they can actually survive without Maldonado catching half their games. Or maybe they should give Luis Campusano a chance, a real chance, not the 3 games then send him down kind of chance he got in early May, or the chance a few weeks later where he pinch hit once, served as the DH in 3 of the next 6 games, and did not play for 11 games, then pitch hit against a position player that was the DH in a game, then was a DH in 4 games later, and then was sent back down to Triple-A. And it continues on this quote. This is not to say the 26-year-old Campusano is the answer. He is 0 for 18 with 6 walks this season. He has struck out 9 times and grounded out to left side of the infield 5 times. He put 3 hard hit balls in play. There are not many left in the organization who still believe wholeheartedly he can be a major contributor. That is obvious. But Campusano has the highest OPS, 1.064, in the Pacific Coast League. The reports there The reports from there are also excellent regarding his effort and focus in handling the pitching staff. And as meaningless as his AAA numbers might be, it is not as if Campusano has not accomplished anything in the big leagues. He entered the season having played 168 MLB games. He was batting .250 with a .684 OPS. Either he can play for the Padres or he can't. Given the circumstances, it's probably time to find out once and for all. Now, we've established on this channel that I'm not a huge Campusano fan, right? But I do agree with the fact that we got to do something with him. You know what I mean? Like, I doubt he's satisfied with AAA, who would be, and he obviously hits well in AAA. But, like, what's the point in keeping him in AAA? Is it to, like, keep his stock high so we can trade him later? That being said, I don't know who would want to trade for a catcher who hasn't had an entire hit the entire season. So, like, clearly he's ready for major leagues. He just hasn't proven it recently. But he definitely has the talent. You know what I mean? So it's like he hasn't shown that talent yet, because I truly believe Campusano does have talent. It's just not showing in the major league level. I don't know if that's a mechanic thing or like a mentality thing. But clearly there's something he does well because of what he does in AAA. But how does he find that in the major leagues? You know what I mean? But let's show you that one comment I kind of alluded to, or shown, I guess. I'm skeptical of Camp's glove, but I do believe in his bat being below league average-ish, so I'm in on giving Camp a full chance, and that only happens if they cut Maldonado and take the decision away from Shildt. Because Shildt wants to keep them, right? And AJ Preller definitely has the executive abilities to cut anybody, but is that a smart decision to just cut Maldonado? Because say Campusano hits worse somehow than Maldonado, right? And then your two options are a guy who hits worse than Maldonado and Arraez Diaz, right? And at that point, we just basically lose a catcher. So I can kind of see the hesitation with it. And that other fact is that Campusano hasn't played catcher once this year for the Padres. And he's been, like, even on Baseball Savant, where I have some stats I'll show you in a sec, he's listed as a DH. Doesn't even have any catching stats. So I get the risk of it, but baseball is a risky sport, and at some point we're going to have to start making some risks unless we want to start selling, which I don't think we could or should do. But I don't know. Things need to change. Let's put it that way. But yeah, let me show you some. I had one more picture, actually. What was it again? Oh, there we go. I don't know how people can disagree with this when you watch what we have behind the dish right now. Maldi Diaz is probably the worst catcher duo I've bared witness to as a fan, and that is saying something when how bad we've been in that department up until the last couple of years. Yeah, I remember I saw a TikTok. It was like Padres past catchers or like opening day catchers. It was like Rene Rivera, Derek Norris, who I used to love Derek Norris. I thought he was legit. No. Austin Hedges for a few years, Austin Nola for a few years. Campusano was the 22 starter, I think. So we definitely have never had, like, a good catcher since, like, I don't even remember. Like, was Josh Bard a good catcher? I don't remember. I mean, I know we used to have Grandal. We got rid of that. We used to have, who was it? Oh, I'm blanking right now. But, like, I can't remember. I mean, obviously, Benito Santiago was a good catcher. But, like, I can't think. You're going to roast me, Padre fans, who are older than me, and that's okay. My memory doesn't go that far back. But if you can think of a really good catcher that I'm forgetting besides Benito Santiago, let me know, because I'm blanking right now. I feel like I can't think the last time we had a good catcher. Anyways, that's off topic. But let me show you a little bit about what Campusano's got for us, right? So 2024 percentiles, 2025 percentiles. Obviously, he's barely played in 2025, but 18 at-bats, still doesn't have a hit. The thing that's weird to me is that we established that he has 9 strikeouts this year, but his chase rate is actually really good. So he's not chasing at a lot of balls, but he's whiffing at a lot of balls. So maybe he's not looking at the ball when he swings and he's just mashing it. I don't know. But even in 2024, when he looked good for a little bit, or was that 23 looked good for a little bit? I don't actually remember. But he doesn't look that great. I mean, especially catching. Look at those stats. They're all poor. League poor. Pop times, little less than average, but that doesn't really inspire me so much. And I wish I could see his AAA numbers catching, but I don't know. He just doesn't seem like that great of a catcher. I'm still on the train where I would love to see Campusano, first of all, hit better, but second of all, play first base. I know we have a lot of first basemen right now, so maybe that's not the play. But I don't think Campusano will ever be a good catcher. But I think he could have good potential at first base. I don't know. I don't know. But let me show you one more thing real quick, and then I'll let you guys go and be free. Just as some standard MLB batting statistics, like we said, we had 9 strikeouts this year so far. I don't mind the 6 walks. I mean, walks are good, but like a 250 on base. If he gets a couple of hits, that might be good. But I mean, he's never really been like a crazy good hitter. 2023, he had a good streak. So I guess that was 2023 when he had a really good streak. And in 24, he kind of like plummeted. And there's these advanced numbers. I don't really care about that. But we look at the game log recently. Let's see. Strikeouts. He had 4 strikeouts against the Braves. Not one time he came back up. 6 strikeouts in May. I mean, that's not that bad. But 3 strikeouts against the Diamondbacks. Obviously, 0 hits. So, like, basically my point being, he has not given a lot of hope that he could be a good, not just good this year, but just a good catcher in general. But I don't know what else we could really do with him. We can either keep him in AAA, drop him, trade him somehow for anything, because his value is probably low as heck right now, or at least try and get him some more at-bats. Which I honestly, at this point, with the way the offense is looking, I would be willing, I'm not really the manager, but I would be willing to just give him a few at-bats. Well, give him consistent at-bats, I should say. Let's see what he has, let him adjust, and worst comes to worst, we still suck at catcher. You know what I mean? But yeah, let me know how you guys feel about Campusano. Do you really think it's time to start him, or are you guys giving up on him? I don't blame you either way. But how do you feel about Mike Shildt's comments about Maldonado and his stubbornness with the 2 catchers? Or do you have any good trade options you might want to explore? But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe as always, and go Padres. I'll see you guys tomorrow for more stuff. Bye.